the burden which Habakkuk the prophet did see. O Lord, how long shall I cry, and thou wilt not hear, even cry out unto thee of violence, and thou wilt not save? Why dost thou show me iniquity, and cause me to behold grievance? For spoil and violence are before me, and they are that raise up strife and contention. Therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doth never go forth. For the wicked doth compass about the righteous. Therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. Greetings, friends. Welcome back to the broadcast. I'm Shawn. Website is scriptureandprophecy.com. That's where you go to find the archives, and that's where you go to support this mission of truth. Well, I went back and forth today on whether or not I wanted to talk about this stuff, but decided to do a short broadcast and just kind of look at really two main themes here. Earlier this week, we read out of Ecclesiastes chapter 5, and there is a passage that I think is really important for us to consider in our time. And so we're going to look at that today, and we're going to read Psalm 37. At the beginning of 2020, if you'll remember, I did like a New Year's podcast. I think it was January 1st or 2nd or 3rd, somewhere in that range, and I had a feeling in my spirit that things were going to get weird. And I mentioned that on the podcast, and I said, buckle up. Things are about to get crazy. We all know what happened a few months later. I've kind of had that inclination, that feeling this year, specifically for the summer, fall, winter period. Frankly, I thought it was going to happen sooner than it has now. But I have that feeling about going into the fall and winter. The wickedness and the evil that is in power and in control of the world is beyond comprehension. I mean, the average person can't even conceive it. That's why so many people have their head in the sand, and so many people are just unaware of the evil intents. Because the average person is incapable of even thinking on the level of evil that some of the people and powers to be possess. Let me just give you 3 headlines that I think basically kind of sum up to be completely authentic, the thing that I was thinking about this year that I was concerned about was going to happen was an intentional collapse of the U.S. economy for the purpose of bringing in the digital currency. I feel like the powers to be are foaming at the mouth, desperate to bring forth a digital currency where they can truly control commerce and censor and social credit and do all these just terribly evil things. Here's a headline for you. Brace yourself, because what they have planned is going to absolutely devastate the U.S. economy. I'm not going to read this whole thing. I'm just going to read you one paragraph. This is from themosimportantnews.com. It says, do you remember what happened in 2008? I actually personally do remember very clearly. I was a real estate agent at that time. I became a real estate agent, had multiple properties listed. This is all in 2008. I learned very quickly that things weren't going in the right direction. Let me get back to the point here. Do you remember what happened in 2008? Many people believe that another historic financial disaster is coming and that it will absolutely devastate the U.S. economy. Earlier this week, I wrote about an investor named Michael Burry that actually bet $1.6 million that the stock market is going to crash. He made all the right moves in 2008, and he fully intends to be proven right once again in 2023. Of course, current conditions definitely resemble 2008 in so many ways. The residential housing market is so dead right now. The commercial real estate prices are plummeting at a very frightening pace. And I'm not going to continue reading. You get the point. Some of you may have been listening to me since, I've been doing this podcast for a decade, but if you've been with me even longer than that, going back to when I used to podcast for a precious metal company named Silvertown, 2012 probably. 2012, yeah. I've been warning since then that there's going to be an economic fallout at some point. And I still hold true to that belief. I don't know what it's going to look like. I think it's intentional. Sometimes I just can't believe that these are the things that, that we have to consider, that we have to waste our energy thinking about. Here's the other thing. Some of you probably saw the headlines about how there was this secret Chinese lab in California that was stockpiling biologicals. I heard about this a few days ago, but it goes all the way back to this happened in July, and it made mainstream media. And my initial gut reaction was, well, the only reason that mainstream media would be reporting on it is if the benefit of reporting on this is part of the agenda to prep the psyche of the people, right? So apparently there was this lab. Again, you can go to the end of the AmericanDream.com to see this article. It says it appears that an illegal, unlicensed laboratory full of lab mice, medical waste, and hazardous materials that was owned by a shadowy Chinese company was doing some pretty crazy things. When authorities entered the facility, they discovered thousands of vials that contains all sorts of various infection agents. In addition to malaria, they found chlamydia E. coli, Streptococcus pneumonia, hepatitis B, C, herpes 1 and 5. And they also found 900 mice that were genetically engineered to catch and carry the COVID-19 virus. Again, the mainstream media is fully controlled and owned by we'll call them the globalists, I guess. The only reason they're reporting on this is because they want you to know. Which leads me to this last article, and then I'm going to get to the scripture. It's going to be a soft like entrance back into this nonsense, but they're definitely trying to do it. EndTimeHeadlines.org. Here we go again. Atlanta colleges bring back COVID mask mandates. Government DRs in Seattle call for face coverings to be compulsory for healthcare workers amid a rise of a new COVID variant. So this Morris Brown College, it's a private liberal arts school, is already, this is in Atlanta, already requiring students and employees to wear a mask again. I would love to think that there's no way that humanity is going to tolerate this nonsense. But what I learned over the last 3 years is that humanity will tolerate anything if you give them a little bit of uncomfort. Bring them a little bit of fear, make them a few empty promises. They'll even line up for whatever your solution to the problem is, which is why there's no doubt in my mind that when the real deal, the real mark of the beast enters the scene, that nobody's going to hold back. 90% of the population will gladly line up to do whatever they say as long as they can get their comforts back, get their life back. I'm astonished when I look at the world. I read you from Habakkuk 1. That's been a verse for me for many different reasons throughout my life. Habakkuk's crying out to God, how long are you going to allow this to continue? How long am I going to have to look at this? The law is slacked, real judgment and justice never goes forth. The wicked surround the righteous, and in fact, what goes forth is evil judgment. And God says, behold you among the heathen and regard and wonder marvelously, for I will do a work in your days which you would not believe, though you were told. Do it in our day, Lord. Do it in our day. Here's the passage from Ecclesiastes that and we're going to read Psalm 37. I think these things are great comforts in the face of the evil that we're having to look at every single day. Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 8 says this: if thou seest the oppression of the poor and violent perverting of judgment and justice in a province, marvel not at the matter. For he that is higher than the highest regardeth, and there be higher than they. Solomon's saying you shouldn't be shocked when you see this. Because what's his point? Everything's vanity, right? There's nothing new under the sun. Even back in the day, Solomon's like, don't marvel. Don't be shocked. Of course you're going to see this. Of course this is what they're going to do. Let me end with Psalm 37. I know that today's podcast is short and it's somber. And like I said, this is not the kind of things I actually want to do on the podcast. I just want to study the Bible. I just want to share the gospel. But occasionally people need to hear these type of things. Because the reality is this is what we're up against. And you need to have certain scriptures in your heart and certain understandings about God and how God operates. Or you're kind of blindsided when these things come to pass and you don't know where to turn and you don't know what to think and you don't know how to react. Let me read Psalm 37 and then I'm done for the day. Here's what it says. Verse 1, King James Bible. Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass, and wither as a green herb. Trust in the Lord and do good, so shalt thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed. Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give you the desires of thy heart. Commit thy way unto the Lord, and trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. He shall bring forth righteousness as the light, and thy judgment as the noonday. Rest in the Lord, and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bring wicked devices to pass. Cease from anger, and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil, for evildoers shall be cut off. But those that wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. For yet a little while the wicked shall not be, yea, thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. The wicked plotted against the just, and gnashes upon him with his teeth. The Lord shall laugh at him, for he see that his day is coming. The wicked have drawn out the sword, and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and the needy, and to slay such as be of an upright conversation. Their sword shall enter their own heart. Their bows shall be broken. A little that a righteous man hath is better than the riches of many wicked. For the arms of the wicked shall be broken, but the Lord upholdeth the righteous. The Lord knoweth the days of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever. They shall not be ashamed in the evil time. In the days of famine they shall be satisfied. But the wicked shall perish, and the enemies of the Lord shall be as fat of lambs, and they shall consume into smoke, shall they consume away. The wicked borroweth, and pay not again, but the righteous show mercy and giveth. For such as be blessed of him that shall inherit the earth, and they be cursed of him that shall be cut off. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth in his ways. Though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for the Lord upholdeth him with his hand. I have been young, and now I am old. Yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging for bread. He is ever merciful and lendeth, and his seed is blessed. Depart from evil and do good, and dwell forevermore. For the Lord loveth judgment, and forsaketh not his saint. They are preserved forever, but the seed of the wicked shall be cut off. The righteous shall inherit the land, and dwell therein forever. The mouth of the righteous speaketh wisdom, and his tongue talketh of judgment. The law of his God is in his heart. None of his steps shall slide. The wicked watches the righteous, and seeketh to slay him. The Lord will not leave him in his hand, nor condemn him when he's judged. Wait on the Lord. Keep his way, and he shall exalt thee to inherit the land. When the wicked are cut off, thou shalt see it. I have seen the wicked in great power, and spreading himself like a green bay tree. Yet he passed away, and lo, he was not. Yea, I sought him, and he could not be found. Mark the perfect man, and behold the upright, for the end of that man is peace. But the transgressors shall be destroyed together, and the end of the wicked shall be cut off. But the salvation of the righteous is of the Lord. He is their strength in the time of trouble. And the Lord shall help him, and deliver him, and he shall deliver them from the wicked, and save them, because they trust in him. There's Psalm 37. You don't need any commentary from me. The words speak for themselves. The righteous are going to inherit the earth. The wicked are going to be cut off. God is going to protect his own children. David says, I've been all these things. I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor their children begging for bread. Wait on the Lord. Trust in God. He sees what's going on. For whatever reason, he's allowed it. But ultimately, it's going to be the righteous that inherit everything, that inherit this earth. And all these wicked, they're like a tree. It's here today, cut down tomorrow, and thrown in the fire. God laughs. God laughs at the wicked. They think they're getting away with it. They think they're bringing in their... They have no idea that they're just pawns in a game, that their inheritance is eternal fire. Or maybe they do know. I don't know. All I do know is that God is the one who's in control. He's the one that spoke it all into existence. Is this too hard for him? We just have to remain in faith. Believe that even during the famine, even during the great famine, even when the economies melt down and there's chaos, God can provide and protect for his own. Verse 19 says, "They shall not be ashamed in the evil time, and in the days of famine they shall be satisfied. But the wicked shall perish, and the enemies of the Lord shall be as the fat of lambs. They shall consume, and the smoke shall they consume away." Thank you for listening, my friends. Thank you for praying. Please continue to pray. Please just continue to pray for me and for my family. I'd really, really appreciate it. And those of you who support this mission of truth, thank you so much. It's far beyond what I deserve. Peace and grace be with all of you. And until next time, God bless.